So I'm going to throw it over to the casters here, and let's see who takes the victory.
Hello, I'm moderator, joined by Elise Randolph for another exciting match of Alliance Tournament 15. And still in the lower bracket today. We've got the Clown Car against PFR. The Clown Car bringing a bit of a serious lineup in the form of an Oneros, a pair of Navy Harbingers, 2 Navy Brutuxes, a Tech 1 Harbinger, 2 Blackbirds, a Hyena, and a Crucifier.
Alright, and PFR, who are in red, brought in Eos, Oneros, Hugin for Webs and Control, Twin Myrmidons, Ishtar, double Blackbirds as well, and double Vexers. PFR a little bit light on the DPS here. Clown Car with a lot of DPS.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really excited to see right off the bat will be who will win the initial jam war. Both those Blackbirds on either side are going to want to get jams onto the hostile Blackbird and neutralize the E-War effectiveness, and then spread whatever remaining jammers that they have onto the remainder of the core DPS ships in each comp. We're now about 25 seconds into the match. Elise, how would you open up if you were each team, respectively?
I mean, if I'm PFR, I gotta, hope I get some Blackbird jams off on their opposing Blackbirds, but even if I miss the jam war on that one, I don't mind all that much, as long as my Hugin can still get its webs and paints off, and I can still throw my drones out on the bad guys. Obviously, the goal here will be to pin down the Oneros really quick and kite around.
Yeah, and pinning down things will be the key ships, will be the Hyena and the Hugin. I'm interested to see what PFR can do, spending 7 more points on the heavier webbing ship, but already we're seeing the jams across it. It looks like the Clown Car either has better connections or has sensor boosters fit, because they've got jams onto those Blackbirds, possibly Caldari jammers, and they've got jam attempts on the Oneros and the Hugin. A Blackbird will be the primary.
It looks like Clown Car actually skewed their jammers a little bit and knew to expect the Blackbirds. For a while there, they had the Blackbirds, the opposing Blackbirds, completely jammed out. But, did not work on this one. The Oneros attempted jam. He's still getting reps off, so it looks like the jams are not landing on that one.
Yeah, more damage coming onto Sadek and Ark, but Dixella in the Ishtar now getting caught. See if Clown Car can actually stabilize this Navy Harbinger of Julia Hillon, who will be the primary for PFR.
I'm interested to see where these jams are landing from the Clown Car side. It looks like they put every single jam they had to this Hugin right now. That's 2 Blackbirds worth of jams, or at least 1 Blackbird worth of jams, because 1 Blackbird appears to be jammed, onto this Hugin. Leaving the other 2 Blackbirds basically free to jam out DPS ships. So PFR getting a lot of length out of their Blackbirds here, able to get just jams on the opposing DPS and mitigate a lot of that incoming damage. Although Clown Car has a bunch of damage in the on the battlecruiser hulls with 4 Navy battlecruisers and 1 just standard battlecruiser, they're not really applying anything here.
No, and one of the things I'm really liking to see from Julia Hillon being the primary is that he's kind of pulsing his micro warp drive and psyching out those berserkers and praetors that are on top of him at 0. We can see that a lot of the PFR drones are a little bit disjointed and not really on top of anything. Not much on the Harbinger anymore. They'll probably be switching their primary, and it looks like they're moving on to Yui Shishan in the Blackbird. Meanwhile, Clown Car isn't really having any success breaking any targets, Elise.
Yep, not at all. PFR, their Vexers getting pointed down by the Clown Car, but doesn't matter. PFR is focusing hard on Yu Shishan's Blackbird, and he might go down here really quick. The Blackbird does have a fairly decent armor tank, all things considered, for an E-War cruiser. So it's, as you can see, it's holding on just barely in 10-20% armor and pumping back up with potential jams landing on the Clown Car Oneros right now.
Yeah, right now we're seeing really an immaculate piloting actually from PFR, putting a defensive screen around that Oneros to prevent Clown Car from getting on top of the Oneros. So far they're unable to break any other PFR ships, so preventing them from getting on top of the Logi is an excellent decision. Another excellent decision will be that Blackbird primary, and whatever they switch to next as Thor Cullen drops.
Oh my goodness, PFR just instantly swapped. They've been shooting the Blackbird by Yu Shishan for like a minute straight, swapped all damage over to Thor Kalden, and managed to get him before the Oneros could get his reps over. Huge misplay by the Clown Car logistics pilot. It is very hard to manage the cycles like that, but great decision making by PFR to psych out the opponent's logistics and nuke out a Blackbird. PFR now have the E-War control. They'll be winning that tug of war as it goes on, and we'll be able to jam out some of these battle cruisers and mitigate incoming damage. PFR is just doing a masterclass in control right now with this kiting drone team.
So one of the difficulties if you're Nox Cross in the Oneros Clown Car is after you come off the cycle of being jammed and you are able to reacquire locks, you then have to relock the target and then cycle your reps, and that can take up to 10 seconds, and that might be one of the problems for Julia Hillian, as he's taking a lot of damage. But right now, Clown Car do manage to pick off Static Anarch in his Blackbird, and the Oneros wasn't jammed, so I'm curious as to why he was dropping.
Yeah, that is very interesting. It might just be a positioning thing, but as I commended PFR and scolded Clown Car a little bit, Clown Car did the exact same maneuver and managed to take out a Blackbird. So now it's pretty much even, and it looks like they're about to take down second Blackbird belonging to Venix. With all the DPS being applied, it looks like the jams are completely missing on everything on the Clown Car side. So full DPS from these Navy Harbinger and 2 Navy Brutixes.
If they can actually drop Phoenix quickly, I'm okay with this trade losing Navy Harbinger for 2 Blackbirds. It's roughly even on points and utility. The Blackbird does drop. Clown Car now should have a lot of those jammers off the field, and we now just see ECM drones. Critically, though, Lady Arian's got Hyena, Paint, and Web on top, and that Hyena is free. Yui Shishan now being sustained for now, dropping into Hull and bouncing up and down as he's still the primary from PFR.
Meanwhile, Nox Cross on the Clown Car side also webbed by the opposing Hugin. So both lodges are pinned down right now, but Clown Car doing way more work, just taking Lady Arian into structure right now. She's not able to tank while just afterburning or rather micro driving her heart away, and bam! Lady Arian is down. Oneros is gone, as I saw, I think a little bit of shield go up there. So maybe an interesting fit on that Oneros. But now the Clown Car are in firm control here, as they're losing, oh my goodness, they're losing their Oneros at right around the same time.
Yeah, Dorn Denard on top of that Oneros had him scrammed and webbed, and Nox Cross is dropped. PFR, realizing once their Oneros was caught, they had to force a DPS trade and get that Oneros off the field. Right now, the Myrmidon of Cyrix, the captain of PFR, is down into Hull, so Clown Car has a total of really 4 core ships for damage, and PFR has the EOS, the Myrmidon, the Ishtar, but the 2 Vexors. Those Vexors doing absolute work getting on top of targets and pinning things down. Hyena of Stu Minor now finally getting caught, and Brutus is taking a pounding as that target painter is allowing excellent drone application.
Really cool flying by this, real cool flit potentially by this Clown Car Hyena. It looks like it might have been Tenement Afterburner fit for a little bit, because when the scram was going on, it was still going quite fast. But not sure right on that one. We'll see what the kill mail comes up. But
yeah,
really good decision making here.
The Brutus now dropping for the Clown Car, the Myrmidon for Victor in low hull. And either way this goes, at least, I'm going to be disappointed. Despite the Clown Car, their name, they've been a very serious team, and they've had an excellent showing throughout PFR, being an excellent team throughout this tournament. Victor now finally dropping that Myrmidon. These Vex are really showing their potential in carrying, as Kelsey is now tackled and is in mid-armor.
Yeah, these Vexors here with the desk we're talking about, they're incredibly versatile, not only in drone comps like what PFR brought, but just in all comps, because they're so cheap for the points. They can apply so much DPS anywhere on the field, and unless you have something to clear the drones, which neither of these teams really have, it's got great damage application for the entirety of the match. They can act as heavy tackle, they can act as control, they can screen, and we see that Brutix going down, and these Vexors have tackled another Brutix. So Clown Car, which seemed to be in firm control for a little while here, are losing purely because of PFR's 2 Vexor pilots.
Yeah, Bluestone doing absolute work getting down into fairly low hull at this point. Being tracking disrupted, he may actually have blasters in the high slot, and it looks like he does. So good work of Savire Ire getting on top of that. But unfortunately, those Vexors are on top of that Brutix at 0. not much you can do to prevent blasters from applying full damage at that range without the script bonus, and Xiang will no longer be able to apply his link bonus as soon as he goes down momentarily.
Yep, so that's it. That's it. PFR kind of wins this. When it was going back and forth early in the start, they lost their Logi trade. They lost the E-War battle as well, but managed to claw it back through their tactics and decision making, and most importantly by these two Vexor pilots who just did absolute monstrosity levels of work here. Important to note, these Vexors do have tracking disruptors as well for these battle cruisers. Battle cruiser cores are something we saw a lot of in the first week and through the feeder rounds. It's kind of a very strong early meta, but can get countered with these tracking disruptors very well. So good job on PFR, you know, filling out their team, accounting for all possible scenarios, not wanting to give too much out here.
Yeah, so one of the things I really liked was the spread of E-War. We saw a good tracking disruption, good target painting from PFR onto the Clown Core, or the Battlecruiser Core. And once the optimals were dropped and they had to go for longer range ammo, you of course lose damage having to go for longer range ammo as a balancing factor. So PFR were able to do full damage with that drone core that they have, whereas Clown Car had to load different ammo, or they had to be forced to commit and brawl. And PFR were able to more or less out-execute at that point. Really well played by them. I'm excited to see what they do in this lower bracket run. This is one of the more exciting matches we've had so far in the lower bracket today, and Savara Iyer is now just trying to burn his heart out and survive as the sole remaining ship on this Clown Car side.
Yeah, also one really cool thing to point out is a little bit of mind games coming from the PFR side. They banned the Vexor Navy issue going forward with their first ban to maybe fake out that they didn't want to see drones and they didn't have drones. But then they brought a drone comp up themselves. So a really cool maneuver as 2 seconds to go with the match, and Savara Iyer finally dies. So for moderator and myself, what a great match between PFR and the Clown Car. We're going to send it back to the boys in the studio and the Bling CPO.
This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
Can I ask you kind of a weird question?
Do you want to play some spaceships with me?
Welcome back to Alliance Tournament. We just witnessed Phoebe Freeport Republic taking the win there over the Clown Car. So the Clown Car is going home, unfortunately, with its bags packed. So before we get into the analysis of that game, just want to give a quick shout out here to the AT viewing party going on downstairs right now. Shout out to all those guys down there. I'm sure you're having a great time. Everyone watching on Twitch chat as well. A big thank you to the sponsors who are sponsoring this event, CCP and Chill Blast. And of course, those are some wonderful IGC skins available right now in the New Eden store that you can pick up and apply to make your ship look badass. Right, so getting into that game, we saw a couple of interesting things where we were discussing during the game. Hoping we can have a look at the Brutix kill meld to start with, because it seemed like as soon as they were focused and they were all of the ships were on top of them, they melted so quickly. They didn't seem to have any sort of tank on them. So we'll see if we can get that up shortly. In the meantime, Rabisu ban. Now, I was a bit shocked by this, but I think you guys had some reasoning about why this was a good choice.
So PFR, sorry Jen, PFR last game they brought the Rabisu barrel gun combo. They had a flag barrel with the Rabisu, so extremely powerful combo. That's something you really don't want to go against. So Clown Car being safe and cautious, banning the Rabisu, therefore banning the flag barrel Rabisu combo, which is oh so powerful in this meta.
And I mean, the Verbisu, if you're going to be bringing it to this tournament, you want to be safe with it. I mean, I still think the other one is still top of Z Killboard, and it's going to be up there for quite a while because 100 billion, even Titans don't get that top spot sometimes. It just goes to those AT ships. Again, like, what do you think has to be going through your mind to be willing to put one of those AT ships into the arena, Jintan?
I think you have to be looking at what the potential rewards are for spending your AT ship as a resource. You know, maybe you lose one AT ship now, but if that puts you in the potential to get to top 4 without revealing a particularly final day composition, even if you do lose that ship, you're still going to be in the potential for getting, I believe the lowest is 6 prize ships that you get of each side.
I think so, yeah. I'm not exactly sure on the numbers. Yeah, so other bans that we had, so we did see the Armageddon also being banned alongside the Rabisu. And for the other side, Phoebe Freeport Republic decided to ban the Vex and Navy issue and the Curse. Now, the Curse was an interesting pick here as well, I thought, because I thought Vex and Navy issue, we did see an Ishtar ban a few games ago. Again, we kind of discussed that it was a very staple ship to get rid of. It does have a nice tracking bonus on it, which other ships are missing. But again, the Curse, I mean, what are your kind of thoughts on the Curse here? I don't know if I like that ban.
I really like the Curse ban from the Phoebe Freeport side here, and that's predominantly because of the mind games it plays. Because the Curse has so far been seen as a counter to this quad BC sort of core, and by banning that out, that kind of sends the message to Clown Car that Phoebe Freeport wants to play those quad BCs. So they bring their own quad BC team, and then I believe what they tried to do is out-meta it and bring a very resist-focused version of that team with minimal, buffer to go with it. And then, Phoebe Freeport Republic were just one step ahead and brought the counter to the counter. Yeah,
it was not a fun time there for them. I'm being told we do have an ECM breakdown graph that we can have a look at now, because in that last game we did see the Blackbirds on both teams here, and the Blackbird again seems to be very popular today. Not so much the Griffin per se, but again, we have seen the Blackbird in many previous tournaments. Ryload, again, general opinions of the Blackbird itself as a ship, or just ECM in general?
Blackbird is a strong ship in this manner. Maybe it's a little bit weaker now because drones are so strong, but the reason why the Blackbird is used mostly more towards heavy core composition, because they're way more tanky than a Griffin, a Kit 2, and a Rook. A Rook is also extremely expensive, while a Blackbird is only 6 points, so they're a lot cheaper, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and they're surprisingly tanky if you max tank them with a 1600 plating and with a damage control. So, and you've got a lot of mids to spare, so you can spam jams quite effectively. So it's usually a dual Blackbird within an Eros or Guardian core.
Okay, and Jintan, I mean, looking at the Griffins, I mean, obviously they were much less picked than the Blackbird there. Would you like to see more double sort of Griffin plays, or even just single Griffin plays here, or is the Blackbird still too much of a staple choice to kind of get rid of at this point?
I think the Griffin is good, but it's in a very specific role. What you want to use the Griffin for is very different from what you want to use the Blackbird for. The Blackbird's there for continuous kind of defensive control, kind of disrupting your enemy team, whereas the Griffin seems to be being used as this: I'm going to spend 3 points, I'm going to bring a Griffin, I'm going to jam your logistics for the first 30 to 45 seconds of the match. It will probably then die, but hopefully in that period I'll have been able to take out a key part of your composition and leave you with nothing.
Yeah, and as we saw earlier from those fits, 1000 HP really isn't anything in these days, especially when it comes to Navy BCs, and especially if they're hull tanked. But I do want to mention at this point that if you guys have any questions out there for me or anyone on the desk or anyone on the Eventy team, please do tweet at us, #ATXV. Put that as the hashtag, and we will have a look and read out some of your comments and get the questions answered that you want to hear. Looking at the next games that we have up here, if I go to my list, we have Solar Fleet versus Mercenary Coalition. Now, I can foresee a lot of people cheering out there in the main lobby and also downstairs, because I have met several MC players, both high and low ranks in their organization. So I expect there's going to be maybe some tears, maybe some cheering from slightly tipsy people, but we'll see. Again, looking at this, any sort of favourites between Solar Fleet and Mercenary Coalition, whether it be personal or just from looking at their previous results?
I think Solar Fleet are coming into this kind of underrated. They've been a fairly good team. Not great, obviously, but they have shown, some amount of competency, and they're obviously coupling that up with the Russian meta that we always like to talk about in terms of them bringing very interesting ships to the field. But still, I got to give this to Mercenary Coalition.
Fair enough. And quickly from you, which one, Mercenary Coalition or Solar Fleet?
We're going to go for MC on this one.
Right, so there are the choices. So we're going to pass it over to the casters here to break down Solar Fleet versus Mercenary Coalition.